All right, Eagles fans, buckle up because Philly just pulled off another classic front office move that screams, we're built to win now. The defending Super Bowl champions are at it again, tweaking and fine-tuning an already stacked roster. The latest move? A trade that sends wide receiver John Mechie and a late sixth-round pick in the 2027 draft to the New York Jets in exchange for cornerback Michael Carter II, a player the Eagles know very well and one who fits perfectly into what this team wants to do on defense. Let's break this down because it's more than just a simple player swap. We're talking about a calculated decision from Howie Roseman, the kind of move that's become his signature. The Eagles are sitting at 6-2, riding high after back-to-back statement wins, and somehow they're still finding ways to get better. That's what separates great teams from elite organizations. When you're already near the top and you're still chasing improvement, that's championship DNA right there. Michael Carter isn't just any cornerback. He's a pure slot guy, a nickel specialist who's built his entire NFL career playing inside, matching up against shifty receivers and reading plays as they unfold. And this isn't new territory for him. The guy's got experience. Since coming into the league as a fifth-round pick out of Duke back in 2021, he's appeared in more than 60 games, racking up over 25 starts. He's seen every type of offense imaginable, faced every style of receiver, and still found ways to make plays. Now here's what makes this story even more intriguing. Carter actually wanted this move to happen. According to reports, he was so determined to join the Eagles that he agreed to remove a $5 million injury guarantee from his 2026 contract year just to make the trade possible. That's not something you see often in this league. Players don't usually give up money to force a trade, unless they really want to be part of a particular team or culture. That says everything about the respect Philadelphia has built around the league. Players see how this organization operates, how it treats its guys, how it wins, and they want in. Think about what that means for a second. When your owner Jeffrey Lurie, your general manager Howie Roseman, and your head coach Nick Sirianni create that kind of culture, it draws talent naturally. The Eagles have become the model franchise in the NFL, structured, smart, and competitive every single season. That reputation matters. It's one of the biggest reasons why players like Carter are willing to bend their own deals just to wear the midnight green. From a football standpoint, this move is smart for a lot of reasons. First, the Eagles needed depth in the slot. They've been rotating a few guys inside, but none have really locked that roll down behind Cooper Dean. Carter brings exactly what they've been missing: experience, instincts, and consistency at that position. He reads plays at an elite level, reacts quickly, and understands how to disguise coverages. And even though he's not the biggest guy out there, standing around 5'10" and weighing in at roughly 184 pounds, he plays with toughness. He's physical against the run and doesn't shy away from contact, which is exactly what defensive coordinator Vic Fangio loves in his corners. Let's talk numbers for a second. This dude ran a blazing 4.36 in the 40-yard dash coming out of college. That's speed the Eagles love in their defensive backs. And even though he's battled a few injuries recently, a concussion issue here and there, his track record shows he's been reliable for most of his career. Since entering the league, 85% of his defensive snaps have come from the slot. He knows that space like the back of his hand. He's not someone you throw on the outside and hope he adjusts. He's a true specialist in that inside role, which makes him extremely valuable in today's NFL, where so many teams rely on quick, underneath passing attacks. Now, there's been some buzz about what this means for Cooper Dean. He's been playing more on the outside this season, and honestly, he's looked good there. Remember that matchup against Justin Jefferson? That might have been the moment the coaching staff realized he could thrive as a perimeter corner full-time. So, what the Eagles might be doing here is shifting Dean outside permanently while letting Carter take over as the main slot guy. That gives Philadelphia one of the most balanced corner trios in the league. Quinn Mitchell locking down one side, Dean patrolling the other, and Carter handling business in the slot. That combination brings speed, physicality, and versatility all over the field. It's also worth mentioning the behind-the-scenes familiarity that helped make this trade possible. Joe Douglas, who used to be part of the Eagles' front office under Roseman before running the Jets, played a big role in scouting Carter during his draft process. Even after leaving, Those internal evaluations and relationships linger in the league. So when the opportunity came up, the Eagles already had plenty of intel on who Carter was as a player and as a person. That kind of inside knowledge matters, especially when you're trading for someone mid-season. And of course, this wouldn't be a Howie Roseman move without some serious contract wizardry. The Eagles aren't just getting a quality corner. They're getting one under contract through 2027 on a very team-friendly deal. That kind of financial control allows Roseman to keep flexibility for other potential moves, maybe even another trade before the deadline. We've seen this story before. Whenever the Eagles make one calculated addition, it usually opens the door for another. Don't be surprised if a pass rusher or another depth piece is next on the list. But let's not overlook how impressive this trade is from a value perspective. Think about what Philly gave up. A wide receiver in John Mechie who barely saw the field this season, and a late-round pick swap in a draft that's still years away. In return, they get a potential starting-caliber defensive back who fits their system, fills a need, and is locked up long-term. That's classic Howie. That's how you stay ahead of the rest of the league, always thinking about today while also setting yourself up for tomorrow. Mechie, to be fair, had potential. Everyone remembers his college days at Alabama. Smooth route runner, reliable hands, tough after the catch. But injuries and unfortunate health setbacks slowed down his development. Between the ACL tear and his battle with leukemia early in his career, his path back to top form has been tough. And on a roster as deep as Philadelphia's, with DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown dominating targets, and Dallas Goedert emerging as one of the league's most consistent tight ends, there just wasn't much room for Mechie to make an impact. So, when the chance came to flip him for someone who can help right now, the Eagles didn't hesitate. And let's not ignore the timing here. Making a defensive upgrade right as the playoff race starts heating up? That's a statement. The Eagles aren't waiting for problems to show up. They're addressing potential weaknesses before they become issues. That's what great front offices do. That's what keeps Philadelphia not just competitive, but dominant. So while everyone else in the league is watching and wondering how the Eagles keep pulling this off, Howie Roseman and company are quietly stacking moves that strengthen the foundation even further. They're not chasing flash. They're chasing sustained success. And bringing in Michael Carter II might look like a small headline today, but when January rolls around and the games get tight, those small moves have a way of turning into season-defining decisions. Now here's where things get even more interesting. When you look deeper into Michael Carter's game, you start to realize why the Eagles were willing to make this move right now. His entire career has been built on versatility and understanding leverage. He's not just a guy who lines up in the slot and does the same thing every snap. He's a thinker, a reader of offenses, someone who studies quarterbacks' eyes and anticipates routes before they fully develop. That's why, even though his raw stats this season might not jump off the page, the tape tells a completely different story. He plays smart football, the kind that doesn't always show up in a box score, but changes the flow of a drive. Let's remember how much the slot corner position has evolved in today's NFL. 10 years ago, that spot was almost an afterthought, a role given to undersized corners who couldn't survive on the outside. But now, with offenses running so many 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, the nickel corner is basically a starter. That's the guy who has to handle motion, read screens, cover elite route runners, and sometimes even tackle running backs head-on. Carter has proven he could do all that. He's shown he can blitz off the edge, drop into short zones, or press receivers at the line. That's why Vic Fangio and the Eagles staff are so high on what he brings to the table. And the timing couldn't be better. The Eagles' defense has been good this year, but there's been some inconsistency in the secondary. Opposing offenses have started to test them with quick passes over the middle, trying to neutralize the pass rush by getting the ball out fast. That's exactly where a player like Carter can make a huge difference. He thrives in those tight spaces, breaks on the ball quickly, and tackles cleanly. He's not afraid to stick his nose in and make contact, which you need when you're defending the short game against teams like the 49ers or the Lions, who love to attack those zones. Another piece of this puzzle is the ripple effect it creates across the rest of the defense. If Cooper Dean is moving full-time to the outside, that allows the Eagles to play more flexible coverage packages. They can go man-to-man, they can rotate zone looks, and they can disguise pressure without worrying about mismatches in the slot. Dean showed against top-tier receivers that he can handle the perimeter. So now, with Carter inside, you get the best of both worlds, stability in the slot and athleticism on the edge. Quinn Mitchell, Dean, and Carter together form a young, fast, and adaptable trio that gives the Eagles every kind of look they might need down the stretch. You can also see the long-term vision here. Carter is under contract through 2027, which means the Eagles aren't just renting him for a playoff run. They're investing in someone who can be part of this core for several more years, learning the system, growing alongside Mitchell and Dean, and becoming a foundational piece of this defense. That's how you sustain success, by locking in players who fit both the scheme and the culture. What's even more impressive is how Howie Roseman continues to manage the roster without sacrificing future flexibility. By swapping late picks and moving a player who wasn't seeing the field, he keeps all the major assets intact. The Eagles still have multiple mid-round picks to play with, meaning if another opportunity presents itself before the deadline, say a veteran pass rusher or a linebacker becomes available, they have the ammunition to make it happen. That's the genius of this front office. They never corner themselves. Every move has layers. Every decision leaves room for another one. Of course, fans are already buzzing about what this could mean when the postseason arrives. Playoff football is about matchups, and Carter gives the Eagles another weapon to adjust on the fly against teams with dangerous slot receivers. Think of someone like a Monterey, St. Brown, or SIDELINE. Having a guy who specializes in that coverage is a game changer. Instead of shifting safeties or adjusting the entire scheme, Fangio can just line up Carter and trust him to do his job. That kind of confidence is rare, and it's what allows defenses to stay aggressive instead of reactive. Now, some people will point to Carter's recent numbers with the Jets and question the move. The truth is, sometimes a player just needs a new environment. The Jets' defensive scheme changed this year. New coordinator, new philosophy, and it didn't really play to his strengths. Philadelphia runs a completely different system, one that leans on discipline, communication, and positional versatility. It's the perfect setup for a player like Carter to bounce back. We've seen it before. A talented player goes from an average team to a great one, and suddenly his confidence returns, his instincts sharpen, and his production spikes. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The rumor mill in the NFL is buzzing like never before, and at the center of the storm is none other than DEVONTA, the Vershawn Smith. Sources close to the Eagles' locker room suggest that Smith, the fleet-footed wide receiver who electrified college football at Alabama, with over 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns in his senior season, has dropped a signal that has fans and insiders whispering, "Let's go." It's not just locker room chatter. There's a sense that Smith is ready for something bigger, something that could shake up the NFC East in ways nobody expected. But before the city of Philadelphia could start dreaming about an all-in championship push, the sidelines reportedly stepped in. Team strategists and front office voices, still unnamed, are said to have hit the brakes, urging caution over what insiders are calling the LINC moment, a reference to Lincoln Financial Field potentially seeing seismic shifts in the team's strategy. According to sources who spoke on condition of anonymity, Smith's enthusiasm almost set off a chain reaction, with the Eagles flirting with bold roster moves that could have reshaped not just their season, but their long-term blueprint. What exactly prompted Smith's apparent rallying cry is unclear. Some speculate it's a personal challenge, a response to off-season chatter questioning the Eagles' receiving core depth. Others hint at behind-the-scenes negotiations, perhaps signaling Smith's interest in redefining his role or even influencing front office decisions. Regardless, the message is loud and unmistakable. DEVONTA Smith is ready, and he wants the team to be ready with him. Of course, the NFL thrives on whispers and speculation, and the Smith story is tailor-made for the rumor columns. Is it an inside hint at an upcoming trade, a bold self-motivation, or just another locker room pep talk. Nobody outside the inner circle knows, and that's exactly what keeps the chatter alive. One thing is certain. Fans are watching, analysts are theorizing, and Lincoln Financial Field may soon witness a drama worthy of primetime attention. If the rumors hold any truth, the Eagles sideline may need to decide soon whether to ride the wave of Smith's momentum or play it safe. And if Smith has his way, "Let's go" may not just be words. It could be the start of a storm that shakes the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.